Congratulations again, graduates. You've made it. You've achieved your goal. Although I'm sure you have many other goals, you deserve the special moment of recognition for all the hard work that you put in. But I also want you to remember that although this may appear the end of an extremely long and arduous journey, it is simply the beginning of a new phase of your life. That's why we call this a commencement ceremony, not a completion ceremony. I hope what I share with you this morning will be of value as you continue to make your way in the world. Don't worry, I'm fully aware that you want this ceremony to be over soon so you can get the ladies and well wishes from family and friends you so richly deserve. I'm going to talk about something a little different from what you usually hear at these commencement ceremonies. I'm sure you can tell that learning is a lifelong process and that this is simply one more milestone that you've achieved. But more than the individual gains that university education provides, like the thinking, computational, and communication skills you've acquired, what you now have accomplished can benefit the community in immeasurable ways. Whether you realize it or not, whether you like it or not, you become a role model. Someone who can make a difference in the lives of our young folks. Not only in the Leeward and Central Oahu areas, but no matter where you choose to settle. The need is great, no matter where you go in the country. The dropout rates everywhere continue to go up. Meth use is at an epidemic level, and crimes related to drug use is rising as well. We keep building more prisons and schools. I don't know about you, but when I was growing up in Polo Valley a long time ago, the only role models I had were those who were doing bad things. No one went to college in my neighborhood. I come from a family where no one from my parents' generation had gone to college either. In fact, neither of my parents went beyond the 8th grade. They were hardworking. My mother was a seamstress for over 30 years. My dad worked in construction for almost 4 years as a mason. Growing up, I was a Kalohi kid. The usual kind of stuff, suspended from school, kind of class, family, fighting. I did not spend a lot of time in a classroom, I can tell you that. My vision was so thick, as we would say back then, that my teachers thought that they couldn't understand me and thought I was from some other country. I'm not proud of everything I did back then. But somehow I made it. Barely made it. I worked in construction for a while after high school, got tired of that, and went into the Marine Corps, served in Vietnam. Later I came back, drove a cement truck, worked as an airline ticket agent, a house mover, produce clerk in a supermarket, and then it got me to think, you know what, I don't want any more of these minimum wage jobs. So I got started right here at Leeward Community College. And had West Oahu been around at the time, I probably would have gone to West Oahu. I eventually went to Manoa, got my degree, and I went on to Harvard University and obtained my doctorate. You can imagine when the family from Polo Valley goes to that ceremony, what that was like. As I crossed the stage, my mother grabbed the diploma out of my hand to make sure it was real. And indeed it was. And only because of the help of mentors who saw something in me that I didn't see myself was I able to get in the right path. So my life story is a prime example of what happens when no one is around to provide guidance and direction, and then when people do care enough to spend the time to involve themselves, as they did in my life, things can definitely turn around. This is where you come in. You have the ability, the power, like mentors in my life, to make a difference in a young person's life. Yes, I know many of you have made it here despite having to cope with tremendous adversity without help from anyone except family and friends, or pulling yourself by the bootstraps on your own. Many of you have overcome huge obstacles with the strength of your tenacity and belief in yourself, and that's good. My challenge to you is beyond striving to achieve success in your job, beyond making a good living for yourself and your family, please show your compassion, your love for the kids coming along, to be a role model, someone they can look up to, someone who has beaten the odds and made it out of the neighborhood and gone on to achieve a college degree. You know, that in Hawaii, it used to be in the old days, wealth was not measured by the number of possessions you accumulated, but by the number of people you helped. Go forward no matter what else you do. Involve yourself in your community and be a role model. And the supporter of our young people they so desperately need. Also, as you strive for success, remember to practice acts of kindness, even with people you don't know. This too is important for us to combat the alienation and estrangement occurring in our society today. For one of our elders said, only when strangers are treated as neighbors will our communities be reinvigorated. Community building, reaching across culture, socioeconomic boundaries can occur anytime and at any place. One day when I was the vice president at Columbia University in New York City, where I oversaw a division of about 500 people, I was walking across the campus and I stopped to watch a groundskeeper who was steam cleaning the famous fountains at Columbia. As I stood there watching him for a few minutes, I marveled at how meticulous and thorough he was. After a while, he noticed me and came over, took off his mask and gloves, extended his hand, and said with a slight Spanish accent, "Hi, my name is Miguel Felix." I told him how impressed I was with his work, and he said with obvious pride, "If you like this, you should see what I did in the walkway next to Butler Library." He encouraged me to go down and take a look. So I did, and sure enough, the work there was equally extraordinary. They'd taken all the moss on the sidewalk that used to cause major slip and fall accidents, especially during the winter. A few days later, I'm walking across the campus again, and Miguel comes racing over to talk to me, calling my name. I stopped and we chat. I told him how impressed I was with what he'd done. He tells me, "Gee, this is not all that I do. I'm an artist and a stand-up comic, and I write comedy for a Spanish language TV station." I nodded my head, but I was a little bit skeptical, to say the least. He said, "In fact, I'm performing down in Midtown. Come see me," which I did. And you know, this guy was amazingly funny. This groundskeeper at Columbia had the audience in stitches. As our friendship grew, he'd bring his artwork to my office. I learned that his work at Columbia, yes, because it helped him feed his family, but also, and perhaps most importantly, because he could take art classes for free. Art was his passion. Eventually, I encouraged him to display his work and helped to sponsor the first ever staff art show, which Miguel organized. It was a huge success, and he and his fellow staff made tons of money. I say all of this because every day of our lives, we walk or drive by people with our sort of tunnel vision, not knowing about all that might be going on in their lives. Yes, we have lots going on in ours, but sometimes making connections with people can be transformational. From groundskeepers to CEOs, everyone has a story, and every story matters. Believe me, people will respond to your efforts to connect as human beings and your acts of kindness in ways you least suspect. A few years ago, a friend and I were at a gas station down the street where I lived in Long Beach, California. There was a guy there with a squeegee. And if you ever lived in California, you've probably seen those squeegee guys. He comes running over to my car. Before I could say anything, he started cleaning my windows. We started talking for a bit, and I found out that he was a Vietnam vet like me. Had been married, fell in some hard times, and lost his job and everything else. When he was done, I reached in my pocket, and at the last minute, instead of giving him $1, I pulled out a $5 bill. Gave that to him instead. My friend is my man said, "How come you gave him so much money?" I said to her that he seemed like a nice guy, and obviously he could use the money. The next week we were at the same gas station, and again the same fellow comes running across the lot to us. My friend is saying to me, "Don't look, he's coming again, don't look." Well, he starts to clean my windows, and as he had done before. When he had gotten done, I reached in my pocket, this time for $1. But he waves me off and says, No, don't worry about it. You gave me enough last time. This time it's on me." People will surprise you. You never underestimate the good in others. Some folks may be down in their luck, may be experiencing hard times in their life, but they still have their dignity and self-respect. I believe that we need to get people to understand that skin color or one's status in life should not define the way we treat others or the way others treat us. Again, remember that everyone has a story, and every story matters. If we get people to understand and accept each other as neighbors and friends, we'd be in much better shape of becoming a more civil, respectful, and supportive society. As Martin Luther King said a few decades ago, we may have all come on different ships, but we're in the same boat now. We need to turn the collection of houses we call subdivisions into caring neighborhoods with a common spirit and a common purpose. I believe our very survival depends on it. Graduates, you can help us. Your challenge of role models and change agents is to determine how you can make a difference in your community. How you can make all of the kids believe that college is for them too. How you can turn strangers into friends. How you can make people take care of each other the way they used to. This is your task. I know you can do it. After all, you soon will be University of Hawaii West Oahu graduates. There's no one better prepared to take on these daunting challenges. I wish you new insights and new understandings every day, and joy and prosperity throughout your life. You deserve it. Thank you very much for listening.